We have all answered with a yes to an unknown question at some point in time. There has been a movement to eliminate the simple answer yes from the question of do you understand, and that is the teach-back method. The teach-back method is used to educate a patient on a medication, disease process, or a healthcare product, and then have them reiterate that back to you, and through that you are able to analyze whether the person has fully understood what you need to educate them on, or if you need to reiterate your information again. I have been using this method before I actually knew the title of it, when teaching a patient on how to administer a shot that they were going to be having to give themselves at home, or giving a patient information on resources outside of the hospital after their acute care, and asking them to tell me the steps of what they would need to do after they left the hospital. It is meant to not quiz the patient on the information that you gave them, but to assess whether you gave them information that they could truly understand. And if they did not, then you need to revamp how you tell them that information. It is meant to increase a patient's experience in the healthcare field, their compliance with their medications, and their disease process. It is meant to truly eliminate the question of do you understand after giving someone information. Through studies, it has been found that a patient will forget 40 to 80% of the information that they were given at the doctor's office or healthcare setting, and that nearly half of the information that they do remember is not remembered correctly. And that data was found via the Agency of Healthcare Research and Quality. When this teach-back is done correctly, the patient will be able to correctly reiterate and reteach the provider on everything that they were taught, whether it's about a medication or their disease process. It takes the answer of yes and opens it up to a full conversation. I have a little short video on some examples of this.
Patient or the client. So an example of how to ask the teach-back question is to say something like, we've been talking about quite a few different things, and I've given you some instruction. Get it back to me so I know if I was clear. So it's if I was clear. Another way to ask it is to really get a broader view of what they thought of the entire visit for like an appointment situation. So you might say something like, after you leave this visit, I know your wife's going to ask you, what happened today? What are you going to tell her? And then you can find out a little bit more about what they understood and also what they thought was important out of the visit. And then of course, if you're demonstrating something like
so that just goes into a few examples of how a person can ask without sounding like they're quizzing the patient. The teach-back method can also be used outside of the healthcare system. One example is of teaching children. With children, you want to make sure that they're just not retaining and hearing the information, but that they're fully understanding it and able to make it a concrete moment in their brain. So an example of this is a multi-step math problem. So you would teach the child this problem, and then you would ask them what the next step is. So with an adult, you may teach them the problem and ask them to tell you the whole math problem and how you would do each step all in one sitting. But with a child, you would break it down a lot more. And this gives a lot more opportunities for that teach-back process. So very similar, you can do it in the healthcare field with teaching children, and actually in any situation where you're teaching somebody something new, to make sure you're fully explaining in a way that they can comprehend. So the teach-back method is to eliminate the answer of a simple yes to the question of do you understand, and eliminate that question altogether and open up the conversation. It can be used in any career format, and it creates a conversation instead of a lecture. So instead of speaking at someone, you're speaking to them and having that feedback. The teach-back method is helping to create a verbal communication in a verbal conversation dying world. And that's everything. Thank you.